So I want to start with what's the difference between a mission and a purpose statement. And I wanted to start just, from OnStrategy's perspective is there is a distinction between the two. A mission statement is answering simply the question, why do we exist today as an organization? Our core purpose, mission statement. The purpose statement often is interpreted as being based on our mission statement. How do we feel as an organization in supporting that mission statement? It is a kind of like behavioral perspective. It's almost like a clarifying statement of the mission statement of collectively as people working together to promote and support our mission statement. How does it make us feel? Now, I've also seen purpose statements almost be an added narrative, like a deeper, more thoughtful perspective on the mission statement. And I kind of wanted to open it up to others. Feel free to collect it on a sticky note. What have you seen and experienced that is super useful in creating the distinction between the role of a mission statement and the role of a purpose statement? You can either drop it into chat or take yourself off mute. Brian, you might have a perspective on this. Brian always has a perspective on everything.
Of course I do. Hello, everybody. Brian here from England. Welcome to all of you. Big up all you people here in England. Yeah, actually, you know what, Jeff? In the interests of great debate, I don't really agree with your definitions.
Okay, please don't. That's why we're here.
Well, interestingly, I did a ton of. You've looked at probably hundreds and hundreds of these things, as have I, and the only conclusion I came to is the important thing is that we all define in our group what we're going to call them. If they are devoid of this definition, then I will throw a pebble into the stone that goes, the purpose is why we exist. Very short, one line at the absolute most. Why are we here? The vision is what would the world and our business look like if we got close to achieving our purpose? And the mission is much more tangible, much more numerical and fairly obtainable. So 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, what are the numbers we're looking to achieve? Typically revenue, profit, or impact in the world, that sort of thing. So those are my three. Sorry, quite different to yours. But it is important to realize though, companies all over the world completely mix up those definitions, change them as they will, compact them, separate them, call them different things, mix it all up. So there I are. That's my two pence worth.
No, it's fascinating because there's different interpretations of mission and purpose and vision. I think we're all pretty clearer on vision, but mission and purpose gets muddled. And I think probably the best approach is land on a definition and stick with it. If we know what our definition is of mission, we know what our definition is of purpose, check. You just solve the lack of clarity. John.
I would agree with that completely. In working with our clients, we find just a recent client, they had North Star, mission, purpose, vision, and there was very little difference in any of it. Just confused people. So to your point, keep them simple and clear as to what they need for the organization. I think that makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
We use objectives instead of, you defined it, Brian, the mission as a future goal. We use objectives, but it's mission. Why do we exist? Our vision is a seductive, sexy picture of the future, what we want to look like, and then specific business objectives are. We're not going much more than 3 years these days, but somewhere in the future.
Yeah. And as long as our definitions of mission and North Star and vision and purpose statements create clarity between our current state, where we're at today, and the future state, creating that awareness and distinction, that is like the grounding of strategic planning right there. And I've seen, kind of like this interpretations of a mission statement, almost maybe originating from the military perspective of our mission in this battle is to achieve this. And so it's almost like achieving some kind of future state. And so it's like the waters get muddy, and they don't have to be, as long as we clearly define what is our definition of these different attributes that go into the strategic planning process, and make it your own and stick with it and be consistent. I think consistency is like vital in this. Very cool. There's any other thoughts from anyone else?
Hi, this is Michelle Edison. I'm with the Pathways Community Hub Institute. I'm the Director of Network Development.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, it's a national nonprofit based out of Ohio. Using community health workers. And so we've been really working on the concept of mission, vision, and purpose. I'm newer to the organization, but not new to the model. And I really do agree with a lot of what Brian said. For me, the mission is like what we do right now, like the nuts and bolts of it. The purpose is why was our organization created? And then the vision is, to your point, that what will the world or the target group look like, feel like, sound like, if we were able to achieve the goal. And that vision isn't just dependent upon us. It's a collective vision, right? Where we're playing a role in it. But I think you're right. We have a very complex model. And so I found that we've tried to put a lot into that mission statement, and it just becomes very convoluted. Just trying to keep it as simple as possible. I totally agree with that. And the sort of like, what do we do right now? So that if I meet you on the street, you know immediately, okay, what we're about. But then what do we hope to see in the future is sort of like the thing that motivates us. And I think I saw a video that you all put out once that said, the mission statement, all the staff should want to wear it on a t-shirt. And I totally believe that. So so that's just my little 2 cents. We've kicked around like aim statements where we get into goals and objectives and, metrics and things like that. But that's where we are right now. So thank you for that.
Awesome. Thank you, Michelle. So, okay. So key takeaways from what we've spent the last 10 minutes talking about. I'm thinking. That was my moment of pause as I think. Okay, key takeaway is keep it simple. Be crystal clear on the definitions of mission, vision, purpose statements. Be consistent with using and applying those definitions. Those are 3 key takeaways. Keep it simple, keep it consistent, define it, and make it, make the definition your own. As long as we're creating a distinction around who we are today, our current state, and defining that big, bold vision in the future state, that's what our intention is with mission and vision and purpose statements.